whole home destination.
Hello everyone and welcome to Varsity Spotlight. I'm Jack Taylor.
And I'm Jeff Taylor. Now the regular season basketball, we're talking high school, that came to an end a week ago. So we're talking conference tournaments, we're talking a little March Madness a couple weeks early. Everything really got started on Monday. The MEC Power Six, they kicked it all off. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from some of those games that were played on Monday. Indy taking on Mallard Creek. King Rhodes and his crew looking to do something. Mallard Creek early on, they got the job done on the inside. But Indy would have the answer. Indy was pretty much strong this entire game from the inside, from the outside, draining threes left and right. Mallard Creek tried their best. They hung with them for about 3 quarters, but in the end, Indy was just too tough. They just had their game working. Indy would go on to beat Mallard Creek in this one 85-50, Jack. They actually had a running clock in the second half. Indy just strong, and of course they would move on into the semis. So congratulations to Indy there, and we'll give you an update, the strong dunk there. Tell you a little bit more about the semis in just a minute.
Absolutely. All right, moving on now. We see Butler taking on Chambers. Butler and their team has really caught fire here at the latter half of the season, really getting where they needed to be and catching it quickly. In the beginning of this game, more of the same. They took Chambers to task all the way through. You see the transition there and the slam dunk to get the points off of the fast break. And at the beginning of the game, really, Chambers had no answer. They were trying to find some sort of spark anywhere on the court. They'd have to go from beyond the arc to do so, and they would make it work. They would be able to get a little bit of a lead there, but back and forth all game long. Chambers really needing to play lights out basketball. No mistakes anywhere on the paint. You see the miss there, but then the slam dunk to put it right back. Yep. And from then on, it was a defensive battle for Chambers to keep Butler away. You see the block there, getting where they need to, and they would win just barely. Chambers getting the 49-48 victory to move on to the semifinals.
Yep. All right. Hey, let's switch gears and check in on the ladies. This is Butler taking on Independence, and let me just tell you, Indy got started quick. First couple of minutes, Indy was right in this game, but then all Butler the entire game, Jack. This one would turn out to be 74-25. And just let me tell you this, Indy, though, they never stopped playing. They showed heart, they showed determination, but Butler just, and Indy struggled all season long, but Butler really couldn't miss. This had a running clock, I think, at the end of the, end of the first half. Butler just way too strong, and as we said, they're going to win that one 74-25 over Independence. So congratulations to Butler there.
Absolutely. Now moving on to the final game for these conference finals, West Charlotte taking on Chambers. Battle of the Big Cats, right?
Yep,
Golden
yeah.
Lions and the Cougars going.
This was back and forth.
Absolutely. Look like you can see going down the paint, getting some buckets there where they need to early on for West Charlotte. And you can see it's going to take a lot of different shots, a lot of different areas. Not good defense there, and that's going to give an easy bucket for Chambers there, which you really can't give up anything like that in this kind of game. You see the tough defense there, the spin move to get around.
And I was
here.
at that game, and here's the deal: West Charlotte, in terms of just their transition game,
yeah,
was
right
awesome.
There,
and Chambers just kind of had a hard time with that, getting back on D and stuff like that. So really, yeah, the Golden Lions really just kind of had it going on in terms of transition games. But when that wasn't working, they would, get their offense clicking, and they go on to win that one 57-47. So congratulations to them.
Yep, moving on now to the Southwestern Conference.
Yeah, this was on Tuesday, as a matter of fact. AK, and this is AK taking on Rocky River. AK, one of the top two, in the bottom, wasn't one of the 1 or 2 seeds. Braden Suggs, great player for AK. He had it kind of on fire the entire time. Rocky River did their best they could, but AK just, they couldn't get it done. I mean, AK got it done, sorry. Rocky River just struggled in this one, and AK did what they expected to do, and that would be going to win. And of course, what that would do would set up a game against Providence in the semis, and we'll show you that in just a sec, because that's a great neighborhood rivalry.
Absolutely. Moving on to the second men's game. In this one, you see Palisades playing the host, Valentine Ridge, in the quarterfinals. Both these teams, very, very new. These schools, very, very new, trying to make some waves in this conference. See the nice bucket there in the paint for Valentine Ridge, but Palisades would do more of the same as well, getting the and one right there to get a little bit of extra insult to injury. But this one will be back and forth throughout the game here. Valentine Ridge not stepping down, trying to win in front of the home crowd and move on to the next round. But yeah, Palisades be able to take it over from there.
Yeah, Palisades just strong, and then that would lead them to play in the semis East MEC. We'll show you those highlights in just a minute. Okay. Final one for you. Actually, we got a couple more coming up for you. We're going to switch over to the girls, as a matter of fact. Sorry. We got Palisades taking on Rocky River. This one would go to Palisades. They're just strong. They had the transition game working the entire time. Rocky River, once again, they were there kind of hanging around, but Palisades, well coached, they just moved the ball on offense, Jack. Little miss there. Rocky River would get some plays back and forth, but in the end, Palisades just too strong, and they would win this game and advance to the semis that was played on Wednesday, and we'll show you some of that in a minute.
And last but certainly not least, Ballantyne Ridge, the host again, taking on East Meck, trying to get one of their teams across.
Right.
East Meck was able to light it up. Absolutely on fire against these two teams. You see Ballantyne Ridge getting the point there, but East Meck really was able to hold on for a little bit there, and then Ballantyne Ridge able to get these second chance points and really take over this game there at the end.
Right, at the end, Ballantyne Ridge just kind of took over, and East Meck, they've had a good season, just a tough way. The last half that game was just Ballantyne Ridge. East Meck just struggled somewhat, and Ballantyne Ridge would go on to win that. So that is really the Monday and Tuesday action.
Yep.
We're talking like 16 games in 2 days. We're kind of worn out. So hey, stick around. We're going to show you some semifinal action that's coming up next on Varsity Spotlight. Hey, welcome back everyone to Varsity Spotlight. I'm Jeff Taylor, that's Jack Taylor. We showed you some of the quarterfinal action from Monday and Tuesday. Semis played last night.
Absolutely.
Been a lot of conferences.
Full week of basketball all around the area. Absolutely. Let's start out with the Greater Charlotte Athletic Conference. Huff taking on Myers Park in a huge matchup, very highly anticipated as these two teams know each other. They have seen each other throughout the season, and there's quite a few connections in this one. We know the head coach for Huff is the brother of that man right there, Drake May.
Drake May in the
His
house.
whole family in the building. Of course, his dad played for Huff, and now their brother is coaching for Huff.
No Super Bowl ring.
No Super Bowl ring for him, but they're trying to get a conference ring, right, in his first year. Huff was lights out in this one. They went on a huge run to start with really these shots from behind the arc to power them ahead. Myers Park would try to hold on where they could. They can make some magic happen from the three-point line as well, but reality was Huff at the end of this quarter was up 21-7. You see the and one there to give them quite a bit of magic. Now I will say Myers Park was able to close the gap going into halftime with a couple of big shots where they needed it, getting this point total exactly where they wanted. But from then on, especially in the second half, Huff just ran all over them and got a huge win, double digits, exactly where they wanted it. Huff getting the big win in this one. All right, let's take a look now at the Battle of the Mecks. South Meck versus West Meck. West Meck, we talked about it. They've been the darling of this season, from 0-25 to the outright conference leaders in regular season, the #1 seed in this.
Best turnaround ever, maybe.
Yep, trying to get a win here off of the bye. They're going to have to make some magic happen. They play beautiful ball. The passing there, inbound, make sure it doesn't go out of bounds to the three-point shot. But South Mech had some shots from behind the arc as well to make sure they could stay in this one. It looked like West Mech was going to go on a run. They really could not be stopped here, but South Mech as well would get the shots that they needed to tie it at halftime and then get a slight lead that West Mech could just never come back from, even with tough transition play here like you see with the steal and then the and one. But in the end, South Mech upsets West Mech with the win. Here's what Coach Chris McDonald had to say.
And we can come out of a hole or we can extend the lead out and we can close out games. And that's what our kind of mantra is, right? Like we want to be able to go 1% more. We talked about 32 minutes of energy and effort tonight, and they gave that tonight. We've been down a lot this year, but this has kind of showed that we're kind of getting around and turning the corner. And I'm super proud of what they did tonight, super proud.
Yep. South Mech taking on Huff tomorrow night.
All right, on we go. Southwestern 7A, 8A semis. Best game of the night, Providence versus AK. We know that neighborhood rivalry really well. Now let me tell you about this. They split their games during the regular season. Providence last night, just so strong. They really couldn't miss anything. They had the inside game going, they had the outside game going. They built really a double-digit lead. They were up 10, they were up 15. AK, they made some shots, but they went kind of cold in the third and fourth quarter. So guess what? Providence has a 17-point lead with about 3 minutes to go. AK would battle all the way back. This is the last 2 seconds. The three-pointer to tie it, no good. Providence wins. Wow. Here's what their coach had to say about this game.
We just got to play hard. I mean, they got two bigs. We got two bigs. It's going to be the battle of the bigs on Friday night.
All right, congratulations to Providence. There, he was actually talking about the matchup of who they'll play. Now, we have East Mech taking on Palisades. And this was the other one. Oh, I'm sorry, we got the ladies. No, the guys. Sorry, there we go. I'm a little confused there, my bad.
There it is.
So East Mech taking on Valentine Ridge.
This Palisades.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry, yeah. East Mech, they win. This was a battle back and forth. This one would actually go into overtime, which is kind of crazy that would happen. East Mech just didn't look good as the 1 seed. They would go on to win this one to advance to the finals, where they will play Providence in that. And here's what their head coach had to say after that game. He was not happy.
No, the way we played it don't help at all. We didn't come to play our best basketball, and it looked like it. Luckily, we got out of there, made some good plays at the end of the game, but that was just a struggle, man.
All right, now let's move on to girls basketball. East Mech playing in this game as well, taking on, that is Providence and Valentine Ridge, going head-to-head in this one, trying to move on to the next round. Valentine Ridge at home hosting, trying to see if they can move on in this one. Providence was able to take it both directions here and on both ends of the paint, really make magic happen.
Yeah, the Lady Panthers were just strong. And I watched the block.
Wow.
They got a girl in the middle who's 6'5".
Yeah, if you have that as a secret weapon in women's basketball, especially at this level.
She was just too tough inside all night long. Yeah, Valentine Ridge they couldn't handle that.
And here's what the coach for Providence had to say after the win.
You know what, we take every opponent as we come and we prepare for them the same way. AK versus Providence is always going to be a good matchup. We've seen them twice this year already. It's always a close game. It's a well-coached team and a good team, and we're ready to play them on Friday.
Now, who she was talking about was AK, their neighborhood rivalry, who they will play on Friday night in the championship game. AK actually taking on Palisades, exactly. And AK, this was all AK the entire time. Palisades tried their best to hang with them. AK is just way too tough. They had everything working. They had the blocks going. They had the offense, the defense going. The Lady Knights just too strong. They will go on to win that game. They will take on Providence Friday night in the championship game, another neighborhood rivalry. Here's what one of their players had to say after that big win.
No, like you said on Friday, and just making sure we tighten everything up tomorrow. We have practice. Just being ready to get prepared. So yeah, but I'm ready. I'm ready. Yes, sir. I'm ready.
All right, hey, coming up next, we will tell you about a very special event that took place honoring girls and women's in sports. We'll have that right after the break. Stick around.
Welcome back to Varsity Spotlight. Now, 2 weeks ago, females in the sports world were celebrated with Women in Sports Day. Here in the Queen City, the CMS Student Athlete Advisory Council had a special event planned to go along with that day.
But unfortunately, Mother Nature Jack, she had other plans. Of course, all the events we had with the snow and ice. So that event was moved to earlier this week. We had the chance to get to this great event and sit down with two ladies who are big role models to female athletes in Charlotte. All right, Dr. Turner, when you come to an event like this and you see that it's been put together by students, how impressed are you? I mean, this is wild.
This is what it's all about, and giving the students an opportunity to lead. And this is what National Girls and Women's Sports Day is all about. Sports give them an opportunity to lead beyond the court, beyond the field, beyond the mat. And so to see them in action is awesome. I love it.
To kind of walk around and see what's going on today, we know, like you mentioned, you know, the girls on the courts and on the fields, the diamond, the impact they have on their community and stuff. To see what they're learning today, how important is that for them?
Because I think it's beyond, it's life after high school, what's going to happen in their careers and being professionals. So they're getting those workshops about what it's like to be a professional, right? The etiquette workshops, the professionalism, the headshots and things of that nature. So it's very important. These are things that you're not going to get in a classroom, right? So being able to be an extension to the classroom and provide them with opportunities is very valuable for them.
When we talk about the female athletes in CMS and across North Carolina, how impressed are you with what you see, you know, when they're playing?
Oh man, I just love the competition. I love to see them in action. I show up at games randomly. They never know when I'm coming. They never know when I'm going to show up. And just to see them in action is just beautiful, and just having fun at what they do. And just excelling in the classroom and on the court, that's just big for them. And so I get excited about what I see across the Charlotte region.
Another event put on by the CMS SAC. I get more amazed each time I come going, they can't up their game, and they do. How cool is it to be here today and celebrating women?
I mean, I think, like you just said, it's another event put on by SAC, but I think the great thing about this one, Jeff, is it's, you know, for girls and it's by girls. And this is an opportunity for them to feel like they belong in every room. So they don't have to compete against anybody. But
They're still maybe competing, maybe.
I think there's a little competition in the room.
Right.
But I'll say this was great was when we were down there and they were celebrating each other, right? They're not competing against each other today. There's no court involved. It's just women celebrating women. And I'm excited to see these girls just be happy today.
We know the success they have, you know, on the court, on the field, on the diamond. How important is today for them to be successful in life?
If I could tell you the statistics, right, it'd be, you know, there's shocking statistics to tell you about how many CEOs and how many business women are former athletes. And, you know, when you look into that, I think it's just really important that we remind them of that every opportunity we get. And we planned this event for last week, and it got snowed out, but we're here this week because we didn't want this opportunity to pass them by. And anytime we get an opportunity to just shine that spotlight on them again, we want to make sure we do that.
And our thanks to Dr. Erica Turner. She was the first lady you saw there. She is the CMS Athletic Director. And Tamara Satterfield, she is the Adult Liaison for the CMS SAC, Student Athlete Advisory Council. So great things that they do there, and it's awesome.
Absolutely. You talk about the impact that they have on the lives of female athletes in the Queen City. And coming up next, we're going to hear from a couple of young ladies who took part in the great event. More Varsity Spotlight coming up next.
And welcome back to Varsity Spotlight. In the last segment, we heard from Dr. Erica Turner and Tamara Satterfield, who are there in charge. She's the one in charge of the CMS Student Athlete Advisory Council. They talked about the week's event celebrating girls and women in sports. Now let's hear from two of the female athletes. We have Dania White and Sydney Glover. We'll hear from Sydney Glover first. Take a look as we sat down with them. Let's talk about your sports journey. We know that you were a senior at Garinger and you just wrapped up volleyball in the fall.
Yep.
What's your sports journey been like? Has it always been volleyball growing up? Did you play other sports? What drew you to volleyball?
Growing up, I actually bounced around a lot. My parents kept me in different sports. I played soccer, tennis, cheer. I was in a lot growing up. But once I got to around middle school, I really went in on volleyball, and that was something I just kept with all throughout high school. And it's been great for me. I love that sport. Ultimately, you know, seasons don't always go the best. They don't always go the way you want. But I feel like I've gained a lot of relationships throughout it, and I've still had a good time.
When we talk about girls and women in sports and celebrating it today, to see the female athletes come out today and learn more about what they can do off the court, off the diamond, off the field. How cool is that for these athletes to be able to do this today?
It's amazing because I feel like being an athlete can really be a full-time thing. So being able to take some time and really like be outside of that and really glow outside of that, I feel like if anything that makes the best athletes when they're really all around just spectacular. So
playing volleyball, playing sports, being a part of CMS SAC, how has that prepared you for the next part of your life?
Ultimately, I was a very shy person at the beginning of high school. Ultimately, like I'm still definitely a little softer spoken, but I feel like
You got the lights on you though right now.
Through things like SAC and through sports and just through all the things that I've picked up over time, I've seen myself speak on big stages. I've seen myself meet new people, and like that's something that I never would have thought of myself because I've been really quiet and I've never really took the time to come on my show up until I started to be in these things. And now I feel like I've started to actually be able to imagine myself on a lot bigger of a scale. And I think that was something that I really like to think about and I really like to reflect on when it comes to things like this.
Senior at Mallard Creek.
Yes, sir.
You'll be playing soccer in the spring.
I will.
Talk to me a little bit about your journey growing up in terms of, has it always been soccer?
So when I originally moved to Charlotte, my dad wanted to get me involved in team sports, so he put me in soccer and track, which, as we know, are both spring sports. And it turned out that I gravitated towards soccer a bit better. When I was running track at one of the meets, I kind of slipped and rolled my ankle, and I figured it wasn't the sport for me, so soccer was the way to go.
When we talk about soccer and the way it's kind of blown up across the nation, how's it grown in terms of a female sport, you think? We have the Ascent now. Has it blown up kind of on the female side?
Yes, I would say when I started playing soccer, it wasn't really a popular female sport per se. And I, especially because I'm tall, would always get, oh, do you play volleyball? Do you play basketball? No, I'm a soccer player. But I like playing a sport that wasn't as broadcasted and isn't as, original as others, I should say, because it gives you that chance to kind of be the underdog and navigate a new sport and navigate the upcoming of it.
Right.
And yes, to see the growth and to see the passion behind it and how many new female athletes are joining the sport. And it's just so great to see that sport blow up.
So for the female athletes today, what they're getting a chance to experience, it must mean the world to them.
Yes, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for our female student athletes in high school. This is definitely that I believe in CMS, the first time that they are able to experience an event like this. It's unfortunate that we couldn't have it on the actual day of due to the
Mother
snow.
Nature.
Yes, everything of that. But I think that this definitely means a lot. It should be very sentimental, and being able to celebrate ourselves, I think, is very important, especially in this day and age, and knowing that female athletes are represented across the nation and across the world, really.
Congrats to the ladies, great event.
Absolutely. We'll have a great weekend, everyone. We'll see you next week.